Okay, so my second reflection is a lesson that I feel like I've learned in the area of time management. And that is the importance of identifying my core energies. So this is a term and a concept that I picked up from a man named Charles Barker, and I'll say more about him in just a second. But the key idea is very simple. Basically, there are an infinite number of things I could do. There are an infinite number of needs in the world. But at any given time, I only have maybe one or two things that I'm super motivated to do. And so it's really important for me to be able to identify what those core energies are and to make sure that my time and focus and resources are aligned with those core energies. And so I wanted to share about two stories in my life, one when my work was not aligned with my core energies and one where my work was aligned with my core energies. So before I went back to graduate school, I worked at a high-tech startup for several years. And the startup was a great place to work. I had really fun coworkers. The culture was really cool. But the work itself, I think, wasn't a great fit. Like I wasn't super motivated to do the things that I was expected to do. And I just didn't feel like I really enjoyed the work very much. Now, after being there for about a year, the company started a tradition of giving Employee of the Month awards. And so the first month, they gave the award to, like the rock star engineer at the company, the person who basically was the architect for like the whole software code base. And the next month they gave it to like the second biggest rock star at the company. Now, I think when they started this tradition, they made a kind of a miscalculation. I think they assumed that the company would continue growing and hiring people. But around that time, the economy wasn't doing so great. And so they had trouble sort of finding investors. And so as a result, they basically didn't grow for about a year and a half. Now, when I joined the company, there were about 18 to 20 employees at the company. And so basically it kind of turned into almost like a ranking of all the employees at the company. And so I started getting really nervous because I was like, I was afraid that basically I would be like the last person at the company to receive the Employee of the Month award, which is basically the company's way of saying, we just like to officially recognize that you were the least valuable person in this company. Like, thank you for your contribution. So I started getting really nervous. I remember at a certain point, I was like, man, there's only like 5 or 6 of us left. And I'm pretty sure the security guard is going to get this award before me. So I got to get out of here. Like, I just couldn't handle the pressure. And so I left. And that is the true story of how I went back to graduate school, right? So students, please do not follow my example. Now, the other story that I'd like to tell is when I came to MUD and I decided that I wanted to pursue a research program at the intersection of music and engineering. Now, this is not what I did in my PhD studies. This is not what my advisor did. So this is like a very different direction for me. But it was something I had always wanted to do, something I had wanted to explore. And I just decided, if there's ever a time in my career when I should just go for it, I feel like it's now. So I decided to just throw myself into it and just to see where it would go. And the first 3 years were just disastrous. Like every paper was rejected, every proposal was rejected, every idea that I had didn't work out. The results on everything were really disappointing. But I loved the work itself so much that it almost didn't matter. Like I was just having so much fun. And so I just kept going at it. And eventually I did sort of figure out, find some ideas that worked well and figure out how to sort of write proposals and papers. And so I think one of the key lessons that I've learned over the past 6 years is the importance of recognizing what my core energies are and making sure that I'm aligning my resources and my focus with those core energies. Now, the single person that I think helped me to do that more than anyone else was a man named Charles Barker. So he actually has no engineering background at all. He was a pastor for many decades. And then after retiring from that, he became a campus minister at the Claremont colleges. And so that was how I got to know him. For a period of about 2 years, we met once a month for spiritual direction. And I consider those conversations and those times to be among the most transformative experiences of my adult life. And so Charles is not here in person. I know he's traveling at the moment. But Charles, if you see a recording of this afterwards, I just want to say to you, thank you so much for how generous you have been with your time, with your life, sharing your life and your experiences and your wisdom with me, and for coming alongside me in a really difficult season of my life when I was adjusting to life as a new father and trying to make a lot of decisions about my research career. And so I'm just very grateful for our conversations and really grateful for you.